I'm not really convinced that there is much of a difference between what we now know as the soldiers of freedom and a suicide bomber or terrorist or whatever you want to call it. The reason being, I actually find that there are great similarities. There are two principal similarities. Number one is both the soldier as well as the suicide bomber is basically a victim. He has been conned by somebody infinitely smarter than he is. And number two, both the soldier and the suicide bomber have been sold sex in exchange for their lives. They have been guaranteed pussy. Take the case of a young, bright boy who grows up as a great academic success. But by listening to politicians who will tell him this rubbish, like, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country, the next thug comes forward and tells this young boy that your country is a city shining on a hill. With all this successive brainwashing, they manage to get these young children to take their attention off the success that they initially wanted. Many of these young kids want to grow up to be doctors and astronauts or what have you, with nice careers, good families, and basically enjoying their lives. But these cunning and shrewd politicians will start getting them thinking. What is a country? How possessive they should be, how much better they are than anybody else. And soon after that, this young boy goes to watch a movie, courtesy Hollywood. And there you have some Richard Gere type of character, or Tom Cruise, or whatever their names are, dressed up in that uniform. And being handsome, all these boys think that, well, if I dress up this way, I will also look like them. And then these Hollywood directors will show this handsome actor getting into an F-16 or whatever those planes are. He takes off of an aircraft carrier and goes up there and murders his fellow human being, and comes down, and they do it very dramatically, with the aircraft landing and the sun setting behind. And then he comes out of the cockpit, takes off his helmet, puts his helmet over here, the camera zooms on him, on his handsome face and his uniform, the medals glistening. And then what happens? He goes outside the barracks or whatever, and who is waiting for him there? It is not Santa Claus, but some beautiful young girl. So basically, this moral of the story is, for fuck your dreams, fuck your family, fuck everything that you considered that you wanted in your life. Join the army, go up there and murder people, and you come down, and guaranteed there is a nice blonde, blue-eyed, big-titted bitch with her heels behind her ears waiting for you. So what does our young Tommy think? He said, all right, Uncle Sam wants you. So he goes there, throwing away all his dreams, his hopes, his aspirations, fear from his parents, throws away his whole life, gambles it, because he hopes to come back there from an aircraft carrier and get this. And it's equally bad on the other side. So on the other side you have, let's say, Makbul or someone like that, in Afghanistan or Iraq or whatever, who is all cuddled up and all in the cold, in the freezing cold on his cot. And at some unearthly hour, his father, Isuf, someone, comes and kicks him out of the cot, wakes him up. And poor Makbul, he ends up having to think, oh my gosh, what is the time? And he has to go out in the freezing cold to take the animals up onto the hill. And every day from the time he was 7, and now he is 18, his father wakes him up at any time. You can't tell whether it's the day or night. And this poor boy, dressed up with all those rags, and he is so thin, skin and bones. He has to take these animals in the freezing cold every day. There is no Sunday for him, no holiday. So this poor guy has to go up to the hilltop in the freezing cold and do nothing there but sit and watch the animals have a meal. So as a result, he is cold. You imagine your skin and bones. He's not really chubby or something. He's skin and bones. Whole life has been spent like this. Last night's dinner, this morning there is no breakfast. All the meals are nothing but dried bread. He has got nothing to look forward to. He hasn't seen a woman. Well, he might have seen her forehead, but that's all you can see in those countries. So he goes up there. The animals start having their meal. They eating the grass. How do you think this boy keeps himself warm? You gotta take matters in hand, pal. So basically, every morning, Makbul is kicked out of the bed, drakes the animals up there, and while they are eating, poor Makbul is spanking the monkey. What happens? Uncle Mustafa shows up on a little camel. Because he knows what's going to happen. Makbul is giving himself a hand. Uncle Mustafa comes and says, Makbul, you're at it again, you disgrace. And Makbul, standing there as guilty as ever, and Uncle Mustafa says, Makbul, you're cold, and I can see you're horny. How would you like good pussy? What do you think Makbul is going to say? He's going to say, oh my gosh, I could kill for something like that. There you go. And Uncle Mustafa is thinking precisely my thoughts. Hey, how would you like 24 virgins? 14 virgins. All you got to do is take this little knapsack, strap it on, you go down, see the soldiers there? Go and make some talk with them. And just as you're talking to them, when you're really close, pull this little key. it'll just be a little flash. The next thing you know, you got fucking 24, 48 virgins all fighting for your cock and balls. How can Maqbool refuse? So what do you got here? On one side you have the US young boy being fooled by these politicians to throw away your entire plan for your future. In exchange for what? Good pussy. On the other hand, you got great old Maqbool. 24 virgins? Why not? What's the moral of the story? Moral of the story, mate. When they come to you asking you, give up your life for good pussy, just tell them, give the pussy first, we'll blow ourselves later. Can you imagine if Maqbool told Uncle Mustafa, so Uncle Mustafa, I really don't know how to handle these things. Why don't you take this backpack and you go there and show me how it's done? You wouldn't have a suicide bomber. Young boys like you, yeah, you have some whatever, Hillary Clinton or whatever, Obama, whoever, comes up to you and says, listen, give you, ask not what you, tell him, hey, shh. Here's a gun. You go to Iraq then, show them, fight this battle. Don't drag me there. I'm just going to the bar. Don't let people exchange your life for pussy.